Welcome to everyone in the Caribbean, the Americas, and the United States, and of course, around the world. This is Love, Truth, and Peace. I'm your host tonight, Dr. Melody Harris Barrow, coming to you live from Miami. Welcome once again. This is a new year, and we've been off for a while, so it's nice to be back. I would like to say that may God bless us all. May God continue to bless this earth. Now, this show was created to equip nations and people with the knowledge and tools they need to improve, create, build, prosper, and change their environment so that they can effectively lead to a better future. Today's topic, oh my goodness, this is going to be a great topic. I want you to share this show. I need you to share because a lot of us are going through self-hatred versus self-love. So let's discuss this tonight. And to discuss, I would like to introduce my guest, I should say, Mel Bryan. She's a fitness and nutrition coach and a business owner from Panama City, Panama. And of course, Mr. Montre Moore, Director of Public Relations for the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce, North America. I have to say, I miss you guys. I honestly miss you guys. It's been a while since I've been. I think it's been a month since I've been off the air. But I'm back. We are back. We are back to teach you about who you are and actually to let you know you're powerful people. So today now we have our beautiful, beautiful Mel Bryan and Mr. Montre Moore. How are you guys doing today?
Amazing, amazing.
Yes.
Very
yes,
grateful and thankful for being here. And I want to say thank you for you, the host, Dr. Melida, for putting me on your show today
of
and
course.
then allowing me to share with the world how amazing God has been for me to take all this hatred out of my world, out of my life, and teach me what real love is all about.
That's right. That is right. Montre?
Well, first and foremost, Happy New Year's, ladies. I find this to be a true pleasure and an honor to even chime in my little
Yes.
on such a important topic that touches our people and touches the world, quite frankly.
Yes.
And I just hope that this is a beginning of a conversation that continues to completely remove the stain of hatred. Let's make it plain for the
Yes.
people. And allow them the platform to move forward. There has to be a reckoning in any situation of growth, in any situation of transformable change. So I love that. And I love that we are here discussing that and hopefully giving the people some encouraging insight.
Yes.
I agree. Now, I want those of you that are watching, because you're going to be part of this show, and I want you to share your comments because this is a very sensitive topic. A lot of us are going through self-hate and self-hatred, and we don't know that we are. So today, I would like for you to tune in with us, share the show, because I myself, like I said before, self-hate comes from the beginning of life. A lot of times it depends on your culture also, because I grew up in an environment where I was constantly told that I was ugly. My brother probably don't know that, and other people around me probably don't know that, but I was told that I was ugly. So when someone would tell me that I'm pretty, I would say, no, I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm ugly, but I would say, no, I'm not. So I grew up thinking that I was ugly. So that developed self-hate. When I first came to this country in 1976, also, I was comparing myself with others, comparing myself because my body was different. I had the hips, I had a nice, beautiful shape, but what I was told was, you have to be skinny very, very thin in order to be beautiful. You have to be light complexion to be beautiful. You have to have straight nose to be beautiful. All those things develop self-hate. So I went
And
through a period of time going
and I
through.
must say, I would elaborate a little on that. I must
Yeah,
say, actually, I went through the same. Mine was the opposite. I
really.
was really thin. I developed and became a young lady at an early age, as 9 year old, and I was very fair skinned. And my other thing is that, as you can see, I don't have the straight nose or anything. So I was picked on a lot, saying that one because I was developed and I had, like, more than other young girls at that age. And then I used to be ashamed of myself that I was too skinny. I had too much boob. I didn't like my color skin because they will tell me like cockroach, or they will call me all kind of names. And that hurt a lot, to the point where I disliked myself. I wanted to be darker. I didn't want to actually be outside. I would use like big clothes so no one would actually see my body, because at 9 years old, being a
I
young
did the
lady
same.
pretty, it was something for other of the other kids would tease me and tell me I wasn't pretty enough. And then I was ashamed of my boobs. I was ashamed of my body, and I was hating myself. I wanted to gain weight because I wanted to have that curvy look. I wanted to have that darker Caribbean color on me. It was a lot of stuff. And then once I
Yeah.
got here, the other thing I got, it was my language, because I spoke Spanish and I was of color, and then also my complexion. So all that was things that they will put against me, and they made me feel like I didn't belong, that I didn't fit in.
Yes, yes, yes. Did you experience that, Montre?
Well, I can say this. I am fortunate enough to be the brother of seven sisters and the father of an absolute beautiful little girl who is dark skinned. And I think it's so important at the beginning of one's life to install in them their own self worth. And since her inception, pretty much, I have edified her in those ways. And I think if we don't get back to the individuality of beauty and
Yeah,
get away from what the mainstream tells us is,
right.
either be it our colonizers or be it our peers,
Yes,
we have to get back to the origins of self-worth and being able to look our children in the eye and tell them you're beautiful just the way you are.
yes,
And
yes.
they
I
have
think
to believe it.
right. That's the key. We have to believe it. We have to tell our children how beautiful they are. Tell our children no matter what color they are, the nose, the hair, because we have a tendency to talk about bad hair and good hair in the Black
Mhm.
community. There is no
Yes.
such thing. Your hair is your hair. That's how you were born. Thank God for it. And it depends on the regions where you're from, why you're the complexion that you are, why your the texture of your hair is the way it is. So we need to start and we need to begin to love ourselves. I think that's key. One of the greatest I have here. Here we go. As I began to love myself, this is me. As I began to love myself, I found that anguish and emotional suffering are only warning signs that I was living against my own truth. The truth is, I'm beautiful inside and out. Those are the things that we need to understand. So when someone is telling you, and you know what, sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. Let's talk about that. We are hard on ourselves. Sometimes we say all the things that's not going to happen to us. We need to change that mentality as well. We need to start changing the mentality of the fact that put your mind to it, and I know that you can do it. As long as you put your mind to something, you can do it. Stop belittling yourself. Oftentimes, we are our own enemy, you know.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are our own enemy. We talk so bad about ourselves.
Mhm.
Oh, my hair this, my that. I want you people to start embracing yourselves. Embrace who you are, love who you are. But it's not easy to be in
No,
this environment, in this society, because this society is defining who we are as a people. So
absolutely.
And
when they're
and
defining us, we are accepting what they're defining. Go ahead.
Yes, and I would like to elaborate on that. It's so funny that you said tell your mind and your body will follow. That's something I started to use a long time ago. I heard a quote from Martin Luther King, and then once I heard it, I picked it, and then I said to myself, this is my slogan. From now on, this is what I use. And it's exactly what I use with all the people that I train, with all my customers and my clients. I teach them to love themselves by telling their minds that they can do it. And
Mm,
once they get this in their mind, then they're capable of achieving anything. And I taught my son the same thing from he was later, telling him you can do whatever you want, whoever you want, as long as you tell your mind. If you have the right attitude, you will get anything in this life. There's nothing you can't do if you have that right attitude. And how do you teach someone that? Is by teaching them about love. If you teach someone how to love, and once they know that love is not about loving others, it's not about begging permission to anyone, it's not about being okay with anyone else but yourself, it's loving what God gave you, because you were made perfect just the way you are. Whatever you have is perfect because there's a purpose for you in this world. And then all you need to do is learn and find that purpose. How do we learn it? By getting in a relation with the Lord.
exactly, exactly. We have a question. What values cause people to hate? You want to answer that, Montre?
Um, Absolutely. Let me take a moment to compartmentalize that. Hate
Yes,
is
yes,
something
yes.
that if we're talking about hate, there's a lot of different reasons people hate. Um, and what causes someone to hate is can be the feelings that they have inwardly. Normally anyone that's projecting hate outwardly, there's something that's internally wrong. And if we want to talk about, our community, there's so much that is wrong, so much that has, for the last 400 years, caused us to be in the situation that we are now. So it's not happenstance that we're here. We need to understand that. We need to understand that it is the lack of our knowledge of our history. It is the lack of our ability to build communities. It's the lack of being able to pool our resources and come together. All those things have compiled the level of hate that we see in our community. So what causes that? I think we have to look more inwardly to answer that question and begin to identify what are those issues that have been systematically, put in our face to force us to feel these things how we feel. There, like I said before, there has to be a reckoning of where we are and how we've gotten here in order for us to take any steps forward.
Exactly.
I will say towards that a little elaborating is like there's many things that can cause us to actually hate ourselves. I
Mhm.
can name a lot of them, but one that I think is very, very important is that lack of unity between the kids and their parents. When there's no communication in between parents and kid, would actually lead to that, because now they go and they get help, or they ask question on the outside, or they take, as we will say, their nannies is the media, TV. This is where they sit, and then they're watching video games, they're playing video games, and these video games are not actually controlled by the parents. And then these kids will start using and seeing profound languages and ways to do, and then this is the way they start acting, because what are they surrounded by? Their
Mhm.
surrounded. And then if they don't have parents or no one to actually seek and control that, I think that's one of the things, and that leads to a lot of that, of hatred, which it actually damage others, that will hurt others or hurt their own selves.
I
Absolutely.
totally agree. I totally agree with you. I have a friend, actually. She told me a story that when she was growing up, this is in Panama, and she's dark. And due to the environment, the competition, and so forth, she poured Clorox on her arm, thinking that it's going to get white. And that's the beginning of self hate. You understand? That's the beginning of self hate, because the negativity that we experience in a environment like this, especially when there's racism present, and everything positive is about white people, and everything negative is about Black people.
Yes.
Then the positive things that you're seeing on the other side, you want to know, but why is it because they're white, they have privilege? Why is it because they're white, their hair is better than my hair? Why is it that because they're white, they're more intelligent than I am? So we're basing things on a color, okay?
Yes.
So when we do this in the world, because this is in the world, this is not just in the United States, this is in the world, this is in my country, this is everywhere. So then you start now defining you based on what is happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
We
Absolutely.
can no longer do that. This is the message. The reason I wanted to show is because I want the world to understand something. I want my brothers and sisters in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Latin America, and the world. I want you to understand something. It has nothing to do with color. This was created in order for you to define yourself as how you're defining yourself. From now on, those of you that looks like me with the color complexion like me, you are powerful people. So don't let the color define
Fine.
you. You are who you are. You are powerful within and out. So
And
I got to the point where I had to learn and study and figure out, why is it I am a nothing based on a color? So when we talk about our nose, our lips, our color, I wonder why we're all Europeans are in the sun all day, want to be my color. So there's a problem there. You see, they want to be like us and we want to be like them, but more so we want to be. We have to stop imitating, mimicking. We
yeah.
have to stop all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important now for us. This is a new time. Come on,
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
This is a
Absolutely.
new time,
Yeah, and I want to say
my
something to that. The reason why, like I said, one is the having the attitude. Secondly, the reason why everyone is having that problem is because they don't know who they are. They
Yes,
don't know who they
there
are.
you
And the
go.
first thing you got to learn is who you are. You got
Yes.
to ask yourself that question, who am I? What am
Mhm.
I? And
Yes.
once you get that answer, then you would understand that you are made perfect just the way you are. Now,
That's
you
it.
need to find a purpose in life. If you don't have a purpose, you will never know who you are or what you are. And you need, is not about talking about religions or anything like this, but you need to start having a relation with the Almighty. When you take God in your heart, and you learn to have a relation with him, you learn to seek him and look for him, and you learn about loving him and making him the first thing and the only thing in your heart and in your world, you would understand what is true love, and you will start loving yourself. We're not talking about being religion, we're not talking about following anyone, we're talking about you and God by yourself, talking and learning, and he will take that bandage off your eyes from your heart and open your mind and let you see further away and understand
Yes.
why you are the way you are, because you're perfect. There's nothing wrong with you.
No.
There's nothing wrong with you. You are made to do a different. You have a purpose here in this earth. And then once you know that purpose and you work towards it, then you will find out how beautiful and amazing of a person and human being you are.
Wonderful, wonderful. You want to add to that, Mantre?
Absolutely. The conversation just reminded me of a documentary. I've been able to catch up on my documentaries due to the whole pandemic. And
Okay.
Netflix has a documentary on James Baldwin, and he put it so eloquently when he stated that we have made a legend of a massacre. For 400 plus years, many in this country have been separated and not given any true identity and self-worth. And so it causes one to not one's self-image to be destroyed. And so then you are constantly in search of, and with all these images systematically being put before you, you become see. And so there's so many different ways I can take that, but I want to simply say until we get back to the functionality of self-identity and truly being okay with African and Africa not being a dirty word as African American people, whatever they have titled us to this point, but to be okay with the label of being African and being truly connected to our origins and understanding that that's okay and that that's what makes us great and amazing and the most, inventive people on the planet ever. These stories are not being readily told to our children. So it's our responsibility to build our history for our kids to better understand the role. We did not come from slavery. Our history is not picking cotton. And yes, there are still kings and queens that govern Africa.
There you go.
Most of our kids don't know that.
Yeah.
So they see the news, the first 50 minutes of the news that tells them that they're bank robbers, thugs, and killers. They watch TV shows constantly in prime time that tell them once again they're bank robbers, thugs, and killers. There's no enlightenment of the true essence of who we are as a race. And then we get to that place and begin to install it in our minds, we're going to be stuck. And so I hope that this conversation begins to highlight that.
Yes, I want to start having these type of conversations because I know it's going to help many. And because we still believe in this color issue. And I want to also say that, and this happens to a lot of people of color. And the reason I say that word is because it is known in the community. But this is the way I feel, and I want the world to know who I am. I know who I am. And we have a tendency to say we are of African descent. I want to talk about that because that's so important. And then we're going to go into right away self-love. African descent. I've never heard a Chinese say he's from China descent. I've never heard an Italian say he's from a descent from Italy or descent from Israel or whatever country. I never seen an American. The American can go all over the world and live in Africa. I've never heard him say or her say that I am an American descent. We are the only race of people that say we are a descendant from Africa. No, we are just Africans, period.
Absolutely.
The thing is that we don't know who we are. Therefore, Europeans is going to define you. They've always defined you. They enslaved you. They have defined you. They have taken your name away from you and then tell you you are a nigger, you are a Negro, you are black, you are African American. Why are you allowing the very people that's oppressing you to define who you are? It is time it's time now that you know who you are, and never allow someone to every 2 decades or every so often to redefine who you are. You cannot tell me that my name is not Melida, it's Susie today. You cannot come back and tell me it's not Susie, it's Mary. That's a problem with us. We have allowed the world to tell us what to do. Now, this is 2021. Please, my people, it is time now for you to define who you are, to know who you are, and it's time now to unveil the illusion of this world. Look at what's happening in America today.
Absolutely.
If that was all Black people in Capitol Hill, they will be dead.
Absolutely.
Every single one. If that was Black people breaking in or even walking through, they will not be here today.
Absolutely.
Let's talk reality here.
Yes.
It's time now to change the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time now that we have to change our mindset. Stop hating yourself. There's nothing wrong with your hair. There is nothing wrong with your color. That system was used in order for you to feel that way about yourself. In order for those to conquer you. In order to conquer You have to make someone feel, how can I say this? You have to make them hate themselves.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I hate me, I hate you, and I hate you, and I hate you. Sometimes people wonder why people are not treating them right. You know why? You hate yourself, therefore, that's
Yep.
the response that you're going to get by hating yourself. Because you
Exactly.
Absolutely.
like everybody else. You're fine.
Yes.
Am I
And yeah, you're totally right on
right?
it. Completely right. I agree
Let's
on
talk
it.
about this.
And then it's just amazing. And then one of the reasons too with that, like I said, is because we lost our values. We lost our values, and then parents are not teaching kids their values. If they continue having the values throughout the life and teaching them how important it is, they will learn how to love and how to honor themselves as they are, and stop making people utilize diminishers, calling you by nicknames or anything like this. Have them call you by your name that was given to you proudly by your parents. Do not let them call you by no ini, Nikki, or Negrita, or all these names that they like to utilize to diminish you and control you. It's a manner of controlling and keeping you down from emerging and succeeding in life. And if you don't know who you are, you're not capable of fighting against that.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's a problem. Now, I want us to get into loving ourselves because that's so important because it's time now for us to love ourselves. But it's very difficult to go from hatred to loving. So
Yes.
we have to begin now by understanding why you hate yourself. That's how I was able to conquer self hatred because I had to go back to the root of the problem as to why I didn't like how I believe. Let me put it to you this way. I believed that I was ugly. I believed it. So I have to go back to the root. Why do I believe that? The very closest person to me kept telling me that I was ugly. So I believed it. I was a child. So I had to go back to the root and then I went, voila, there's nothing wrong with me.
Hmm.
That person had the problem, not me. So by them keep telling me that I was ugly, they felt better about themselves. So that's what's happening in the world. You have to create something by saying you are superior. You have, but in order to be superior, what do you need? You need privilege. So if you are in control, you're going to give each other privilege. You're not going to give me privilege. So you're going to start degrading yourself, belittling yourself. Then you're going to start questioning, but what's wrong with me? What this? You have to go to the root of the problem. The root of the problem, why you keep talking about someone's hair is better than the other, is the root of the problem. You were told that was your hair was bad.
Yes.
The root of the problem, your hair is bad, totally bad. Why? Because it's kinky, but it's beautiful. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with your hair. So therefore, by you believing that, it's going from one generation to the next. So we keep teaching our children, oh, you have good hair. They have, and they have bad hair. So you believe that. So we need to now, 2021, I want everybody in the world, listen to me. Let me put myself on so they can see really. All of you in the world, let me tell you something. You're beautiful. There's nothing wrong with you. This system taught you to hate yourself. But we're going to talk about now how to get back into loving ourselves because that's the key. We have to love ourselves. We have to love yourself. Why? Because Africa, my brothers and sisters over there, the Caribbean, my brothers and sisters over there, there's nothing wrong with you. Let's begin now to unite. Let's begin to love ourselves. Let's begin this now. Am I right, Montre?
Absolutely.
Love yourselves. He's from Wisconsin. Come on now, Montre. Let's
And
talk
you
about this.
and you need a lot of love to live in Wisconsin. It's gray, it's cold. I think we get maybe 2 weeks of summer. So yes, that's absolutely true. I'm going to try to keep this brief. I remember growing up here in the public school system. and having teachers basically tell me I was stupid, tell me to stop showing up, and pretty much creating that institution of hate within me. And it wasn't until I got almost in my late 20s, early 30s, and I really began to understand, what being African was, what the true origin of our spirituality was, where we came from. And I got away from these Western ideals of who we are. I moved beyond the school books that told me my ancestors were slaves and stupid and good for nothing and bug-eyed and only in blackface movies. I got away from, the systematical systems of the news that continue to perpetuate us in horrible situations. And I looked at what is our origins and what have we done on this planet of tremendous value. And it blew my mind to learn that everything amazing and great that have ever touched this planet, we created in every avenue. And so the ability to know and understand that just built such a desire in me to search and want to know more and more and more. And actually, when I was getting dressed this evening, I was upset that I didn't have an African lapel pin, but I put it on because it's that level of awareness when you truly realize who you are and what your ancestors have done on this planet and how we have made this world what it is. It blows your mind as an African-American man, and it gives you a whole nother perspective on yourself and the world that you actually are walking in.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And with that, I will want to say that actually by loving yourself, you got to keep yourself humble, because love and then being arrogant, it's still not love, because then you're not manifesting and you're not actually letting others know how beautiful you are, because you don't need to open your mouth. It's actually by being humble, just by looking at you, the aura that you have, that blessing that you have will manifest and show others that you don't even have to explain yourself to them or anything. Just by being around you, they will want to know, like, what do you have? Who are you? What's in you? You have something that brings me towards you, and that's your love. When you learn to love yourself, and when you love to actually see everything with beauty. And how do you learn to love? As I say, having that relation with the Lord, and you have him there and you love him so much that you start seeing beauty in everything, in anything, in just a wall or a rock or a tree. You pass by and you will see that tree looking amazing and beautiful because it bloomed. That's all that love that's inside of you, and you're able to manifest and show others just by standing there, and all they want to do is be around you. But you got to learn to love yourself completely.
Yes, I totally agree with both of you. And then we need to have some self-compassion about ourselves. I want us to talk about that because just one example, you make a mistake and then you're freaking out. You're going, oh my God, I made a mistake, Dr.
And it's
Barrow.
okay. It doesn't matter. You made a mistake. Oh, well, just make sure you don't do it again. That's it. Forget about it. Just leave it behind you. Keep on going.
That's it. That's it. I've had my employees, because I just started the Chamber of Commerce, and they go, oh my God, I made a mistake. This is me. Calm down. It's okay. Let's just correct it together. You know, you know what I think why we do that, and it just came to my mind. We are working among those that is constantly belittling us. So when we make a mistake, we're so afraid. But Montre says something that comes from slavery.
Yes.
Right, Montre? Let's elaborate on that.
Absolutely. We're constantly in competition.
Yes.
Rather than building and creating, and you so eloquently put this to me a few weeks ago, rather than building and creating, we're competing. And that attitude is a playground for, negativity to fester. I recall several times, when I was in corporate America trying to work my way up the ladder and couldn't understand, why I was being held back for a reason. At that time, I couldn't edify. But now, being a more mature individual, it's clear as day.
Yes.
So it's these type of situations that we have to begin to identify.
Exactly.
And so
I totally agree with you because when we make a mistake, I want people to know it's okay. It all
absolutely.
working with, because we are hard on ourselves. We make a mistake. We'll make a mistake with ourselves, and we're
Mm-hmm.
out. Oh my God, this. Have some compassion.
Yeah,
Self
we're worse.
compassion is very important to go to the next step of loving yourself.
I,
Yes.
I,
My
I,
my
I want to give a little on that. I may say that we are so into not feeling that we are, how would we put this, worthy.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because from when we were little, we were taught when you make a mistake, you get yelled out, or you
yeah,
get punished, or
beaten.
you get beaten, or they prohibit for you to do that. Because I got beat down a lot, so I
I
may
did
say this
too.
too. And but it didn't do anything wrong to me. It actually helped me. But then after in life, going through life and going through the different things, disappointments and so forth, and not doing what others want you to do, and always trying to do your best to show them that you were great, but they didn't still see it because you don't love yourself. And on top of that, you
Mm-hmm.
try to keep pleasing others completely. Next thing you know, you're actually doing things to the point that when you make mistake, you go so down deep into a depression. And
Yes.
you don't know this. And I may say for my behalf, it went so deep that I wanted to even take my life away. How bad it was that I was blaming myself for mistakes that I did because nobody taught me anything. I learned on my own, and I learned by seeing
Mm-hmm.
or hearing from others, thinking I was doing the things correctly, and it wasn't. But I had to learn, and then I got emerged. I got help from friends, and I may say, into the friends that I have, I want to say thank you because they have been such a great support, and it had helped me to show me that it's okay to make mistakes. God still love you. You're
Absolutely.
fine. You're nothing wrong. You're not perfect, and we're not meant to be perfect. We got
Mm-hmm.
to understand that it's okay to make mistakes. What we got to do is always talk with the truth, go forward
Mm-hmm.
with it, no matter what. It may hurt, it may bring other consequence because you go forward. But the best thing is that by doing that, you have integrity with yourself, and you're loving to love yourself and understand and accept you as you are. And then everything else, whoever is not meant to be or not meant to be around you, gonna
Yeah.
leave. They were just there for a moment, and whoever is meant to be gonna stay on any situation unconditional with you. And then that's why you gotta understand it's okay. There's no problem. Make the mistake, but don't do it often because now it's not just mistake, it's just you being actually obnoxious, we will say, but it's made mistakes. Yeah.
And what you just said is when you make mistakes and mistakes and mistakes, it's not just negligence. It could be something wrong with you. Yeah.
Absolutely. One of my mentors in a very difficult place in my life told me, Mantra, you have to forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know when you didn't know it.
Yes.
Took me a minute to really wrap my brain around that, but there's
Yeah.
circumstances in your life that you're
Yeah.
just unequipped to deal with these circumstances, and they
Yes.
simply come out the way they come out.
Yes.
Mhm.
Place in our
Yes.
life, we understand them better and we know to do better, but we're not trained in that environment. Like you're saying, there's such harsh criticism from our
Yeah.
friends, from our family, from our peers, that any mistake that we make, once again, in that competition of life, because we got to compete for the best jobs, we got to compete for the best cars, we got to compete for the best house, because only one of us can have one.
Yes.
Mhm.
In that environment, we're so scared to make a mistake because someone's going to see our slip hanging.
Exactly.
Yes.
Us insane trying to perpetuate these perfect lives that we do not live, but yet we walk around with these masks on as we do. And so it's not until we begin to break those masks and destroy those elements and put them to the side to truly love each other, love ourselves, and move forward. But we have to forgive ourselves for simply
Yeah.
knowing what we didn't know when we didn't know it.
Yes.
Good point. Good point, Montre. I just have here spend time with people who make you happy. And that's what I had to do to get away from the self-hatred. I want to spend time with people that I celebrate and they celebrate me as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to be around people that you can't even share good news. If you share
Oh,
the
absolutely.
they're criticizing you. No, no, no. All you keep hearing is the negative. And we have to be very careful of being around people that when you give them good news or you're telling them what you're about to do, they tell you, I don't think you can do it. But they tell you that that you cannot do it only because they cannot do it. And
Because
this
misery loves company. Yes.
and and this is why it's important for you not to look over in the other lane. And we spoke about that the other day, Mel, not to look over the other lane. You know why? That's their purpose. And this is
Mhm.
why it is forbidden to try to imitate someone else. God has given you a purpose. You have the power to do that purpose. So stay in your lane because God is going to bring all those people in your lane in order to guide you to your purpose. But if you're in
Amen.
Absolutely.
somebody's lane, if you are in somebody's lane, how can you progress? What you're doing is not only helping them with their purpose, maybe, but you are delaying your purpose. So if
Amen.
you stay in your lane, you're going to go at a speed that you're supposed to go based on that speed. If you go in somebody's lane, you're going in their speed, but it's not your purpose. So you are detouring what God has given you. So we
Amen.
have to be very conscious of those things. Spend time with people who make you happy. It is very
Absolutely.
important because they are selling. I love when I call somebody and I go, guess what happened? And then they go, tell me, Mel. And I go, yes, da, da, da. And they go, girl, you got it.
Wow.
I you know, I have quite a few people on here that Georgina, I have Jennifer, I have quite a few people on here. When I call them, they go, that's it, Mel. I knew you could do it. I don't want to call someone and they tell me, girl, well, we'll see what happened. It
Hmm.
might work and it might not work. You don't want to hear that.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
With people
Yes.
that are going to celebrate you. Any
You.
comments
Yes.
real quick?
Yes. I may say a little on that one. It's amazing because it's so real that by keeping yourself surrounded by those that love you, when I'm saying those that love you, I'm not talking about those that actually applaud you and not tell you your mistakes. I'm talking about those that actually are honest because they love you. But by being honest, that does not mean that you need to hurt or humiliate anyone when you're telling them something that you believe that is not correct. You need to learn how to be empathic with others, how to be merciful, understanding, loving, and caring. And by being this way and being humble about it, you're able to express and tell them your reality on it, your way of thinking, not pushing your ideas into them, but telling them, well, I think if you could do this, this may work, or this is amazing. Just go for it this way and then work it this way. If not, just switch and do the opposite. But you should always surround yourself. I was told once that you should always have somebody that's way older than you because they have the knowledge. And you should have somebody way younger than you because they have all the new in them. So then by having this, you will be able to incorporate everything that's going on around the world, and you will be able to learn about what to expect, what to see in the future, and what to live in the moment, because that young one going to give you that idea at this given moment.
Yes, yes, yes. The next practice is positive talk. Positive talk. Now, the positive talk, Montre, is I had to learn that quick. I had to, you can do it, Mel. Go on, Mel. You know, you know, to yourself. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
it has to come from yourself because now you're developing that healing process to go into the self love. So you want to make a
Absolutely.
comment on that?
Yeah, when you're dealing with a situation where you have systematic entities constantly, bombarding the space between your ears, you have to have a mechanism to address that because you are with you 24/7. And if that doesn't get it together for you, nothing will. That has to be the starting space. So that positive talk is everything. It should start your day, it should end your day, especially when you are doing your way through personal situations, situations at work, situations, just within the community. It has to be an element of going into it positively. But if you don't start that conversation with yourself, you can't project that outwardly. And I think that's an issue that we have, in the Black community. We don't see enough positive, conversations being had, enough positive energy being focused in on the right things. Take, for example, you have a Black establishment. We as individuals, we are more likely to give that establishment one opportunity. Say if they mess up, or they do something wrong, if the service is not exactly the way we need it to be, rather than going to that individual like, hey, listen, I think you should try this, or I think you should try this, or maybe you should think about doing this. We'll keep that information, but then we'll go out into the community and completely rip that organization to shreds. Oh, never go there. I'll never go back. This was horrible. That was horrible. But we won't take that moment to give that positive reinforcement, or at least that positive space to try to bring our insight to make the situation better. And the things that we need to start doing more. That's the love that we need to see in the community. That's real love. Like Mel was saying before, be able to take that level of criticism and give it out of love. I'm not trying to bash you. I want you to be here. I need your business to succeed, because maybe one day you may give my kid a job, because right now our youth is not being put to work. We're not operating and owning business within our communities, giving them the chance to see what that even environment looks like as entrepreneurs. And so we need to make sure that if we do have Black establishments within our communities, that we're operating in that space of love, being able to go to them, share our insight with them, and go back, give them a second, third, fourth opportunity to get it right, rather than going directly to the community and spewing, negativity.
And I would say on that behalf is like supporting our community, supporting our people when they have businesses, is actually not going in there and giving them the hardest time ever. If they're making a mistake or you feel uncomfortable, whichever the situation may be, get up and be humble about it. Talk to the person, go over there and let them know that all you're doing is just communicating and letting them know that you are uncomfortable, that this was done this way and you didn't feel appreciated, that you will love if by the next time you come by, because you're planning to do so, that if it could be done in a different way, you will really appreciate it. But it's just the way, the tone,
Awesome.
your mannerism, the way that you stand, the way that you express your face. But if I turn around and I come over here, I don't like that in this, then right here we put a wall immediately. But if you come in front of the person and you stand with an upright, with an uplifting way of speaking and telling them in a proper way, respectfully, the way how you want to be treated, then you treat them the same way, and you will totally have that self-love and that self-respect to yourself.
That is totally correct. One of the greatest regrets in life is being what others would want you to be rather than being yourself. I want to talk about that because that is such a great topic, to just being yourself. Let me start it off by saying this. I have watched, and I used to do it long time ago. I would be in the room with probably more Europeans than Black people. I'll put it to you that way. And because watching others doing what I was doing, I adopted it. So when white people walk in the room, I'm straightening up. I'm trying to speak different than how I would normally speak. Everything about me started changing in that moment. I'm no longer Melida. I became someone else because of a presence that I was told that are superior to me. So I caught myself one day and I said, but why am I yanking? That's how we would say in Panama, right, Mel?
Yes.
Why am I yanking? Why am I speaking different? Why am I even acting different? You start speaking proper. You don't speak like you speak at home. You change everything about yourself. It's a complete transformation in seconds. But if that was a room with all Black people, then we're comfortable. We speak the way we speak at home. We come into a zone of peace.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people don't recognize that's what's happening to us. And we need to stop that. That's why people in Panama would say to me, but Mel, you've been in the United States for 44 years and then you come home and then you speak in the same way you spoke when you left. Yes, because I stopped all that nonsense. I
Yes,
am, I am who I am.
who I am. Yes,
And what I have discovered, I love myself.
yes.
I love myself to the point where I had to unveil all the illusion of this world in order to love me. By loving me, I no longer have to mimic anyone. I am the woman that God created. I
Amen.
am the woman that see the world for what it is, but don't have to become it.
Yes.
I am who God already created. No need to mimic anyone. I want the world to understand you should no longer do that. Because when you do that, you are taking away what God has created you
Amen.
to.
Absolutely.
So don't become someone else in the presence of another man, of another, because you are in a different environment. Be
Hmm.
be you. I am. What you see is what you're gonna get. And
Yes.
another thing I want to make this, and then I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to talk about that, is the fact that because I am who I am, I love myself, I love everyone. But I'm going to say this, I love myself so much that I am now and always been since I started loving myself. I want to promote you. I want you to go as far as you can. There is no such thing as competition with me. I don't want to compete with anyone.
Amen.
If I want a position, this is what I'm doing now. I create it, I build it, because I'm not going to allow myself to go into a room and I know that I'm qualified for that job, but you're giving it to someone else because of the color of your skin. The same thing that happened on the Capitol today.
Yes.
No one was forcefully taken out of that environment, of that situation, because they was white. That is the reality of things. If they were African Americans, they'd probably all be dead. So let's stop mimicking. Let's be ourselves from now on. Because if we continue to do what we're doing to ourselves, we will never get to the point to loving ourselves. Go ahead, Mel, because I know you have to say something about that. And
Yes, I
then
do. Yes, I do. It's totally, completely. We got to learn that we are who we are. We have what we have, and we am what we are. What do I want to say with this? God made you perfect. You got it all. You can do it all. And you have it all. You just got to learn that there's no one in this world that can stop you from doing anything. And stop taking others and make them your idols, because they are not your idol. Stop taking others and denigrating each others by looking at us and telling us, you, your own people, telling your own people that they don't belong, or they're not beautiful, or they're not good. Actually support each other, work with each other, walk with each other, and hold hands together, and we will be able to conquer so much. Stop hating on each other. Stop trying to pull down another one by saying like, oh, they can't because they have this or the other, or criticizing. Instead, work and find out what can you do to give that person that help that they need. Don't always think it's all about yourself. think about the others by giving them and sharing with them, and you will see how far away we can reach. Because in today, they're making us believe and feel that we don't belong, or we're not capable of, or we're not supposed to have. Why? Because of our color. And that is not true. Stop thinking and stop believing about them. And then that love that you have will be actually merging and coming through completely. When you find out that who you are, what you are, and what you were meant to be, you will find out that you can conquer the entire world just by pushing and seeking, and everything just come right along. But the first thing is love. Number one is love.
That's right. Montre, we're going into closing. That was her closing remarks. We're going into closing because we could stay here all day and talk
We
about
could
this
stay here all day. We
conversation.
honestly could.
Tell ya. And
I
this is
will.
what I'm bringing this year. Conversation that's going to help us. Go ahead, Montre, in closing.
Absolutely, and I absolutely love it. I'll quickly speak about the 15 years that I served, or spent rather, in corporate America, attempting to work my way up the corporate ladder and walking in many rooms, feeling as though I wasn't worthy of being in those rooms, feeling as though my speech had to be a certain way. I had to drive a certain car. I had to have a certain address. I had to belong to a certain country club. You know what I'm saying? Once again, it's that battle of competition and that fight for acceptance in the white world that allows us to wash away who God has created us to be. But now is a new day. We are removing ourselves from those situations and those mind frames, and once again, believing in who we are and what we're capable of. And in those spaces, I believe we have a beautiful future. It was prophesied that the 400 years has come to an end, and we have more resources now than ever before in any space and time in history. And today is a beautiful day because we're sitting here talking about this. It's being broadcast to the world, and together, love will be shared.
Amen.
I love it. I want to thank you guys. I'm going to leave the audience with a message, and I hope that this message will be able to help you believe in yourself. You are braver than you think, more talented than you know, and capable of more than you imagine. If you believe very strongly in something, stand up and fight for it. The only person who can pull you down, guess who? It's
You.
you. And you
Yeah.
are not going to let yourself pull you down anymore. This is 2021. Live the life of your dreams. You have dreams, live it. Stop talking about it, go into action. When you start living the life of your dreams, there will always be obstacles. Trust me, doubters, mistakes, and setbacks along the way. But with hard work, perseverance, and self belief, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Don't let others tell you what you cannot do. There's so many people that tell me what I cannot do. I just started the sixth region Global Chamber of Commerce. I've never done a Chamber of Commerce before, but you know what? I believe in myself, and most of all, I believe in God. What
Amen.
you can do, do it. Don't let the limitation of other limits your vision. People will come and they will tell you you cannot do it. Tell them, yes, I can. If you can remove your self doubt and believe in yourself, you can achieve what you never thought possible. Encourage yourself. It's very important. Believe in yourself and love yourself. Never doubt who you are. You are who God created. The enemy uses those things you're insecure about. Free yourself and take your power back by being secure in who you are, flaws and all of it. Believe in the power within. Use the skills God gave you from before birth. He gave it to you. Stop searching. This is important. Stop searching outside of yourself for your purpose in life. It's within. All you have to do is activate it. I want to thank you. This is Dr. Melody Harris Barrow. This show is Love, Truth, and Peace. I want to thank my guests, Mr. Monroe. Thank you. I'm sorry. Montre, thank you. And Mel, thank you. You guys did a wonderful job today to send out this message to all of our brothers and sisters in the world. And that does not include just Black people. That includes
Absolutely.
humanity. Because that's
Humanity.
this is not about color. This is about humanity. You know why? God created us all equally. May you have a good night. Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
all of you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, my love. I love you guys. You guys did very well. And those that have watched the show, share this show because I'm sure that it will be able to help many.